I'm Ron Glick, and I'd just like to give a quick overview about Tai Chi, along with some steps that people can go through to get a little bit of experience and practice with it, and then decide if they'd like to actually take a Tai Chi class. The first thing when doing any kind of exercise, just to get loosened up and to prevent injury, is just doing a little bit of stretching. So I'll walk you through a little bit. First thing I do is just interlace my hands and reach up and make myself tall, and usually my spine cracks a little bit as I do that, so it saves on chiropractic bills. And then just bending to either side, and then swing around. All of these are just within your comfort or tolerance. To either side twisting. And then if your back doesn't bother you, you can actually add in a little bit of extension while you're twisting, and that loosens things up even more. Okay. And then, if you can imagine that you've gone to the dentist and he came at you with this long needle and actually missed, and instead of your mouth, your arms are completely numb and kind of dead to the world. So what we're going to do is, as you bend forward and stretch yourself out that way, you're just going to let your arms kind of swing to either side. And now your arms are still numb and loose. And you're going to get into kind of a tennis or a baseball stance or crouch. And then just twist your body to either side and let your arms just go along for the ride. So we're going to get back into that crouch. So knees are bent slightly, hips are bent slightly, just in a comfortable position. And the next thing we're going to do, and this is both a Tai Chi part of the opening movement, it's also a Qigong exercise or a mind-body exercise, is visualize your arms just kind of floating up like they're being filled up by a balloon. And as they come up, they make you a little taller, and then sinking down and letting them fall like they're sinking into water. And a lot of Tai Chi is done with different kinds of imagery like that. And as the arms come up and that balloon is being inflated, just take a gentle breath in, and as they come down, let the air out. And this becomes helpful because Tai Chi is done with incorporating breath into the movements. So as a person coils up with a Tai Chi movement, there's an inhalation. And as they do the strike, that's done with an exhalation. The next thing is just the idea of a weight shift. So just shifting weight from one side to the other. And the side that your weight is on is considered yang or full, and the side that your weight is shifted away from is yin. But there's still a little bit of that side that's touching the earth. And the next thing is heading into the Tai Chi stepping. So the weight is on the back foot, the foot's pointing off a little to the side, the body is facing off to the side, and the other foot is just coming forward. And then you shift your weight forward. And we'll just do what we did a second ago, just practice shifting the weight back and forth. And then the next time, as we shift back, the front foot moves out to the side a little bit, and then we step through. And this is just the basic Tai Chi stepping. The next part of it, so we're in that same position, body's faced off to the side, involves the core, or the center, going forward. So we're rotating, adding some rotation to that movement. So as you shift back, foot goes off to the side. then rotate. And the idea is that if you think about the center of mass of the body, which is just below the belly button, it's kind of like that's the driving force of the energy, so that as you're stepping forward, that's really moving and generating some force, so that when you incorporate that into Tai Chi, the strike doesn't come from the hand, it comes from the body driving through. But we're not there yet. The next thing that we're going to do is just go back to that comfortable stance. And with Tai Chi, we're often visualizing holding a ball. So you can picture a volleyball or a beach ball or a ball of energy or chi. And we're going to do that same rotation that we did a minute ago. And whichever hand you have on top, that's just going to go straight down toward the ground. The hand that's on the bottom is going to follow the body and come up at the same time. So it's not a hand movement, it's just moving up as the body moves around. So we're going to move off to the side, rotate. And when you come back, the hands just invert. So the hand that started on the bottom ends up on top. Then the next thing is we're going to incorporate that hand movement into the stepping. So weights on the back foot, foot's off to the side, body's facing to the side, and you're holding the ball with the back hand high and the front hand low. And as you step forward and shift the weight and rotate, the bottom hand comes up and the back hand or top hand goes down. And then shift your weight back onto the back foot, the hands invert, and step through. Do that same thing, hands invert, we're going the other direction. And each one of these steps, it can be helpful just to practice this a little bit on your own. So now we're going to forget about the hands for a minute. And the next step, we're going to bring in the breathing. So as our weight's on the back foot, we're kind of coiled up and we're taking an inhalation. And then as you go forward, let that air out. Back, inhalation. And it's not breathing real hard, so it's not hyperventilating, it's just gentle breathing as you're moving. Foot goes off to the side, step through. We've inhaled already, and now exhalation. Inhale. And once a person practices this, it's part of what makes this practice meditative, the breathing, in the same way that breathing practice is a key part of yoga. And the last piece will be putting it all together. So again, I suggest that people practice any one of these for some time before you move on to adding the next piece. So weights on the back foot, body's facing off to the side, holding the ball, back hand is on top, front hand is in the bottom, and we're inhaling. And then as you step forward, exhalation. The hands invert, body faces the other way. Inhalation. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So those are some of the key components that are part of Tai Chi practice. Obviously, Tai Chi becomes more interesting and involved when you add in other movements. But even just practicing some of the basic components like the weight shift, the opening movement with the breathing, or the Tai Chi stepping, practicing any one of those or putting them together in practice for 5 minutes a day, after a couple weeks, people are starting to feel like, oh gee, I get this. I'm feeling a little calmer, feeling a little more energized. And then the idea is that getting started with this practice might make a person feel like, I'd really like to learn more about this, and actually find an instructor or a master in your area who can teach you more about Tai Chi. Hope you enjoyed this.